Hey crafty friends, it's Rick. I'm back with another video featuring products from Miss Ink Stamps. Today we're going to be using the Big Mugs stamp set, the Coffee Graphic Stencil, the Tag Die set, along with the Autumn Blessings stamp set as well. So I've already picked out my color palette. I've went ahead and stamped my little gnome onto a piece of just Hammermill cardstock. There's my color palette off to the side. We're going to color him up. So I'm going to be using my Ohuhu markers today. And I'm going to start off with my sage color. I'm going to use E434, which is now E011 with the new numbering system. E432, which is now E06. And EG220, which is now E05. So we're going to color him up first. We're going to give our little mug here in this color combo. So I am still in that fall mood. So we will add that color here. So I'm going to come back in and blend that out with the E432. Right along his little mug there. And I'll come in with my G220 and blend all of this together. So we'll just blend that right together. We'll do the little handle of the mug in just a second. I do have to pull some markers for his beard because I forgot that he had that nice long beard. So we'll do that in just a little bit. All right, I've come back in with my darkest color. There. And I'm going to come in with that E432. Blend that out. And then we'll come in with our G220 and blend that together. All right, we're going to do our orange next. So for that, my darkest color is going to be E080, which is now YR215. I'm going to use YR180, which is now YR213. We're going to do Y3, which is now YR12, and Y10, which is now YR11. So yes, they have came back and numbered them with the color plus the saturation and all that, just like other markers. So, but for our little gnome, we're going to take and color him with our shadow on this side. I'm going to start with the hat and we'll work back with onto the other parts of his little suit as well. So we'll kind of blend that out with our mid-tone. And then I'll blend all that together with our lightest color. All right, we're going to do his little shirt the same way. So I'm going to start off with my shadow. Remember, anytime an object overlaps another object, it will be in shadow, so you will have that on both sides because of how it's drawn. We'll blend that out with our next darkest shadow color. And then our mid-tone. So we'll just blend all that together. Well, hey, I just think he is just the most adorable little thing ever. He's just so cute. All right, so there's our little mug all colored up, or our little jacket, shirts, and hat. All right, for our rest of our little image, we're going to do that in that golden combination. So we're going to start off with Y to 10 as my darkest, which is now Y416. Use Y9. I still have to label my new colors. So that's Y9, which is Y415. E240 has now moved to Y413. And E490 is Y412. So we are going to color up the little stripe of our mug in this combination. So we'll have shadows on both sides. So we'll just blend that out with our second shadow color. And then our mid-tone. And our little highlight color. I'm also going to do his pants in that same combination as well as the band of the hat, so that everything is tied together. So I'm going to do his little pants, the dark color. Then I'll move over to my next shadow color. Just like so, so everything blends nice and together. We will stamp our sentiment onto our tag as well. We'll blend that out with our lightest color. For his shoes, I'm just going to color them with the two darkest colors. So we'll just color both of those. That way everything is still tied in together. All right, for the band of the hat, we'll start with our darkest shadow color there. Move into our second shadow color. Then our mid-tone, which would be most of what we're coloring. Right there. And our highlight color. All right, I went and pulled a couple colors for the beard. I'm going to use RG120 to just give a little bit of shadow to the white of his beard, because it is in shadow and there are colors in white. That's how you're going to make your white objects appear to look white. It's how you color them. So we're going to add that. It's my shadow. I'm going to come in with RG10 and just blend that out a little bit. Where our shadows would be. Just blend that together. And then I'm going to come in with my colorless blender and blend out that lightest color so that it softens into the white of the paper. All right, for our skin tone, we're going to do just the Caucasian skin. I'm using E110, E090, G05, and E10. So I'm going to start with my shadow color. Add that in up under the brim of his little hat. A little bit under his nose right there, on his lip, on his little hand. We'll move to our mid-tone color. My next lightest color there, my next darkest, I should say. Blend all that together. I'm going to come in with the mid-tone, which is that E110. And then my shadow is the WG 0.5. All right, here's my little gnome all colored up. I'm gonna move him to the side and we're gonna start to work on the rest of parts of our card. Now, this is gonna be my matte layer. So I have the orange as the layer here. We're gonna use stamp on top of this. what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little flower or my autumn arrangement here, place this where I want it to go. And I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to stamp that using an orange ink so that it's tone on tone. I'm going to stamp it twice so it's a little bit darker. And then I'm going to take and flip that around. And I'll ink this up one more time, and I'll stamp the upper part. And it's perfectly fine if it overlaps a little. That's okay. There's our background panel. All right, we're going to take our tag, our green tag, I should say, and we're going to lay that onto our platform. We're going to take our coffee graphic stencil, and I'm going to lay this on the background right there. I think I want to move that over about right in there. We're going to add some shade on shade or tone on tone ink blending to that so for our letters can show up. I'm going to slide this up. And I will add a second layer of ink. For our top layer. Back up. I'm going to add a little bit more ink to this bottom part. I can peel that off. I'll set this to the side for a second. I've got my card base, my layers. We're going to add this layer, our orange layer, to our gold layer to start with. So I'm going to just attach that with some liquid glue. I've got a top folding A2 card base, just from Desert Storm cardstock. I'll add this layer onto that. I do have my little strips for my tags, our little reinforcers. I got one from the yellow cardstock, golden cardstock, and one from the sage. I'm going to add the gold one onto my sage tag. So we'll just sandwich that together. And then my green one, my sage one, I'm going to add to my other tag. So I'll add liquid glue to that. And then I'm going to pop that on, secure that into place. And then we need to, before we put this together, I need to stamp a sentiment onto my tag. So we'll do that. And stamp "Love Your Mug" right under our little gnome. I'm going to stamp him in that same orange ink we used on our background panel. All right, we're going to layer up our tags. I'm going to add a little liquid glue behind the tag that's going to be on the front, and I'm going to slightly offset them. Just like that. You can see that tag on the back, but not on the front, which is okay. I'm going to use some twine and add a bow to our tag as well. I've got about 20 inches of twine that I've just doubled up and put together. So I'll run this through. And then we will tie that into a bow before we attach it to our card. And yes, I do find it easier sometimes to have that upside down to get the bow right. So if you're struggling with your bows, that might be something you can try. Flip it upside down and then tie it. All right, we're going to add some foam tape behind our tags. So I'll add a couple little pieces behind the other side here. That way everything's evenly sitting up. Right, we can pull these backings off. I will add liquid glue so we have a little wiggle room. That. Place our tag, make sure we are going the right direction. Just like so. And we'll take our gel pen and clean up any area that might have went outside the line. On our little mug. I'm going to add polka dots to the center band of that mug just with my gel pen. Add a little bit more detail. A little highlight to his shoes. All right, we're going to add a little bit of sparkle to our card. So I went and pulled the Magic Rock rhinestones from Trinity Stamps. I'm going to add a few of these. It looks like I'm going to have to order some more because these are my favorite. All right, we're going to add a couple to our tag right there. And I'm going to add 3 along the bottom right there of our card base. So we will use our pickup tool. And we'll add a couple along that top. And then we'll add a couple, or 3 at the bottom. Just pop those. I'm going to do them just in the sizes. All right, my friends, there is my finished card. There's a closer look at the card. If you like this video, you're probably going to like the one coming right over there. I'll see you in that video. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.